7 first starters at the Meadows tonight.
It's tonight.
We'll speak about that later on.
Anyway.
From a racing point of view, it was a big week, and of course it was headlined by last Friday night at the Cattery down at the Beckley Centre at Geelong with Pink Diamond Night and some big performances throughout that meeting, George. We'll cut through a few of them. Without a Trace, the first of them I wanted to highlight. I mean, we saw it was a statement run on Sandown Cup night where we thought this greyhound has some serious staying potential, and we saw that in spades. Again last week, took on a short price favourite in Coincidence and absolutely dominated.
Yeah, and I think the most impressive thing is the time standard, Jace. I mean, to run quicker than the champion stayer later in the program is no mean feat for a greyhound her age. And she's got the great attributes, Jace, to be a great stayer because she doesn't really have to rely on too much luck. She's got good enough early speed to get into a good position and then be incredibly hard to beat. It was probably, I can't say the run of the night because I think we're going to talk about another boy, but it'd have to be up there in the top couple for sure.
Yep, and one thing we did speak about last week was in Stewart's reports and following up on short price favourites who are underperforming or whatever it might be. So we did see the Coincidence was vetted after that race last week and comments were taken from Luke Thompson, and that might be as simple as he didn't handle a second up run over the distance, but I just think it's a good thing generally to have that standard in our game.
Absolutely.
We'll move on to the champion short course, and that was Sharapova Star. We basically said she was a moral last Friday, and she made hard work of it. She had to really take it up to the leader, but in the end, too good.
Yeah, look, I mean, the early speed, Jason, 8:26 early, that's really humming there at Geelong. She was 290. I think hopefully listeners took that price, Jace, because she came into she finished at 220. That was
I thought she was going to cave in even more.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
The way she's been racing, I was surprised we didn't get any tomato sauce there, but terrific victory for Tina Woman and Dennis Truan.
And then the main event of the night was Matlock versus Explicit. And to have those greyhounds go punch for punch, just over a length between them in a time of 25:40, that is the pinnacle of greyhound racing, in my opinion. They have two guns like that. In the end, Matlock finished over the top, but geez, that was entertaining viewing.
It's what we wanted, Jace, and we got it. We wanted them. Matlock began really cleanly, and Explicit shows that devastating speed, but credit to Matlock. My goodness, I mean, he is just almost unbeatable when he gets to the front in those type of races. What a career he's had now, Jace. And to lose against Explicit in the Ballarat Cup and to be able to bounce back, I think Connections would be absolutely ecstatic.
Do you think Explicit would have won if he didn't get that little check at the end of the top turn?
Yeah, possibly. There's always a chance there, isn't there? But again, you just sort of can't take anything away from Matlock at his home ground, and they'd be proud to win that race, to defeat a greyhound as good as they, and didn't they streak the rest of the field? I mean, it was just what we thought was going to happen. Yeah.
Ethanol Water in the champion distance. You mentioned the performance of Without a Trace before and how it was faster than Ethanol Water. But it was basically turning back the clock for Ethanol Water, wasn't it? Because when she first stepped up in distance, she was dominant. She went to the front, which she hasn't been in recent months. So she's wound the clock back with that performance last week.
Yeah, we've mentioned that she sort of has changed her style a little bit. She sort of flopped out in a couple of races, which has been to her detriment, even though she still won a few of them. But when you're racing against this quality, she had to do things right from the get-go, and she did. Her first split wasn't as good as Without a Trace's, and her overall time wasn't. That's why I keep going back to Without a Trace and how impressive that wins. I mean, we're talking about bona fide staying stars here, so the future looks bright.
And lastly, before we get to race 2 at Sale, Funny Old Fellow later on in the night. Geez, that was dominant. He's another one that I thought was basically immoral, and it played out that way.
22-22, Jace, if you don't mind.
If you don't mind.
A very, very fast time. A very, very good greyhound. Won 26 races now. Pushed his prize money to over 150,000. That's a fast run, late at night and in winter time. That's huge.
Dead set freeze, and it would have been there on Friday night. Anyway, race 2 at Sale. They're at the boxes. Number 1 here's Savvy Lad, well supported. Open $4.40, now $2.20. Let's get the Paul Hammond race 2.
And the favourite here, Jason, is Savvy Lad at 2.20, 2.40 for Dr. Maniac. Brindle Motion's had plenty of chances, has been placed many, many times, but yet to win is a $6 chance, and they're moving into the boxes. The Ed Fountain Removals, second race on the card. Don't forget the quantity later on, 5 through to 8. Green light is on, we're set to go. Ready, race 2. Racing, Savvy Lad got out okay. Showing good pace was Sugar Plum Rose, and going up on the inside now was Savvy Lad, and right round the outside was Dr. Maniac. Showed a good turn of foot and got away. Savvy Lad into second, Sugar Plum Rose third. Then came Orboss Pit, a length or so to Brindle Motion. Well back Acres Blue Boy, and last of all Lindenau Jimmy. Around the home corner, very wide was Dr. Maniac. It's got the momentum. Kicking back was Savvy Lad, but Dr. Maniac just from Savvy Lad. Sugar Plum Rose was third. Then came Brindle Motion from Orboss Pit, then Acres Blue Boy, and well out of it there was Lindenau Jimmy, and the time on the race is 24:82. 24:82, scouted very deep, so it was well suited from the pink. Dr. Maniac by Feral Frankie. Dr. Mama for Marcus McMahon will beat 1, Savvy Lad 2, Sugar Plum Rose should wind up into third position. The splits were 5:30. 13:72, 24:82, 11:10 is the run-in time there. 8:12, and the fourth number about to be posted here on race number 2 goes to 7 Brindle Motion. So it's 8:127 here, guys.
8:127, and we're about to go to Matt Hill for a preview. Race 2 onwards at Sandown, and then return to the grey areas. So be ready for Matt. Number 8, Dr. Maniac, is the winner at $3.30 and $1.50. 1, Savvy Lad, $1.10. 2, Sugar Plum Rose, $1.60, and 7, Brindle Motion. The Quinella, $2.70. Exacta, $7.20. Trifecta, $24. And the first 4, 8, 1, 2, and 7, that's $58. And Paul's first 4 selections. The running double 2 and 8 paid $15 in race 3. Paul's gone the pink wing, 8, 5, 2 and 6. Good afternoon. Ahead of race 2 at Sandown to Matt Hill.
G'day, Johnny. Hi, everyone. Once again, here at Sandown Hillside, we're racing on a good 4, the rail in the 9-metre place. So it's nudged out. So usually when the rail gets out to this position, we have some very keen racing. They might even use more of the track than we see usually and come up the outside fence as the day goes on with 9 races on the card. Really good competitive winter program today. First event we've already seen run and won with Silver Pledge winning. Neil Farley aboard for Patrick and Michelle Payne. Just nosing out Champagne Jenny. It was a short half head by a half length, 2:35.15 the time for 2400. Horses in the yard for our second race for the 3-year-old fillies. As far as bets are concerned, I thought in the sprint race today, race 3, number 4 Stokey, who won really impressively 2 starts ago, placed last start against the same opposition here. Drawn barrier number 2 will try and make its own luck again and be hard to beat. So race 3, number 4 Stokey. And later on in the program, if you're looking for a little bit of value, I thought the Shaper would go close in race number 7, race 7, number 9. One of the more interesting runners of the day is in race 6, Trapperlander from the Archibald stable, Jet Stanley to ride. Last start effort at Warwick Farm was okay, but stepping up to a distance range now that it likes, the 2400 metres where it won its maiden at Listowel in Ireland last year, and switching states to Victoria. It's probably the most interesting runner of the day in the staying race on the card, race 6, number 7, Trapperlander. Horses in the yard for race 2 will build up to this 3-year-old fillies contest in a moment.
Good on you, Matt. Thank you very much. And we're going to get some numbers off Mark Hunter as well. We might as well clear that just before we go back to the grey areas. So in the next at Sandown with Bet365, your current favourite there, at this stage, I can just quickly tell you, is it at $2.30, and that is Noble As, number 7, ahead of 6, Colour Our World at $4.60, and 3 Flattered at $5. Number 5, All Business is Best of the Rest at $8, and then we're into a double-figure market. So we go back to Matt and get his thoughts ahead of Sandown.
Flattered was a chance on the weekend here, was scratch saved for this, is going to be hard to beat with Lincolnshire, who worked hard last start, but Nobilis was very, very impressive at its second race start at Pakenham, absolutely destroyed them there. He's drawn a good gate, this filly by Bilardo, looks to be very progressive, and you're going to take a short price, but is going to be hard to run down, but this is a natural progression for it, stepping up to a midweek benchmark 70 here at Sandown. Nobilis on top for me as we get the thoughts of Mark Hunter.
Nobilis, are you with the fave here or against?
I'm with it. Look, I'm with it. It did. B. Mellon went forward from 1, completely controlled that last race. It was against a much weaker field, and it was never, ever going to lose, and it won well. It's a nice filly. It's drawn well. It will go forward, as Genius said, with Lincolnshire, probably the other one rolling forward. But It's the one to beat. I just think it might be short enough to beat number 6, Colour Our World, who was progressing well, then got onto that wet track up at Swan Hill, didn't fire, can certainly improve. 5 All Business, racing really well and got the advantage of the 3 kilo claim. And then out to number 3, Flattered, next best. So 7 the one to beat, 7, 6, 5 and 3.
7, 6, 5 and 3 from Mark in race 2. Grey Areas time with Jason and George.
Thank you, John. And before we wrap up from the action at Geelong last Friday night, George, it seems to be a pretty strong turnover result as well,
Oh, it
which
was
is
a
a
good
great
result?
thing. Yeah, Trump both city meetings, which is a great thing for a provincial meeting to do.
No, it's fantastic. I think because of the amount of people involved as well, including breeders, and that there was a lot of people with sort of a connection to some greyhound, which hopefully had a positive influence, which I think you said has done. So that's fantastic.
Also helps when the bloke on TV seen them like beach balls as well.
Yeah, well, that's
That
right.
helps.
That's right. That's
Don't know who
right.
that was. We move on and move our attention to racing at the Q tomorrow night, Q2 Parklands, and it is right in the middle of the Brisbane Cup Carnival up there. And geez, what a card. I think from a point of view, George, of really strong racing week after week after week after week, this could be my most favourite series of the year because you just see the guns go around. There's reason for them to go around as well. We support races that do feed in to these other big features.
I think there was a change a couple of years ago, Jason, where this become more prominent than what it usually was. And obviously
the carnival itself.
Yeah, I think obviously the prize money influx helped a little bit. But you're right. It's one of those carnivals in the middle of the year when it's, a little bit cold. And I mean, as Melbourne fans, we're in the heart of footy and, that's enjoyable. But as racing people, to have this on every week, the best greyhounds going around, and we haven't even reached the pinnacle yet. Next week, the heats of the Brisbane Cup are going to be incredible. But this meeting tomorrow, there's 6 outstanding races, which I'm sure we'll talk about. It's absolutely fantastic. So. And it's so good that it coincides with, obviously, the opening of the queue, the timing of it. Sometimes these things get held up a little bit and they still might have been racing at Albion Park, but to see everything come to fruition, I think has been unbelievable.
Yeah, we got in our horse a little bit leading into the Sandown Cup about sort of support races going in, and then the week after there was basically what's essentially a consolation, where what we're talking about here at the Q tomorrow night, we've got a race like the Tempest Chairman's Cup races 3 and 4, which they don't hold the prize money of which they suggest given their name. It's $12,000 going to the winner, but it is just opportunity for good dogs to race, and I think that's what people are asking for. And the first of them that I did mention, George, the Tempest, really interesting here. We see Gambella, who we know is a powerhouse sprinter, still learning her craft, up to 600 metres. That is of high interest.
Well, see, Anthony Azzopardi, I think, has the opportunity to go over 600, which will suit her more, maybe give her the confidence boost she needs heading into the Brisbane Cup heats the week after. So you've got some flexibility here. It's a really good race, though, isn't it? I mean, Boracay Summer, not just one of the most versatile greyhounds in WA, but probably in Australia as well. Runs over 500, 600 and 700 metres are very, very good. So it's a cracking little race. Gambella, $3. Boracay Summer now back into favourite around the $2.80 mark. So that's a bit of a cracker.
And the Chairman's Cup, I mean, there's no strong Victorian interest here, but it is a really good race of the good stayers going around at the moment. So that's that race following the Tempest. And then we move into preludes of the Brisbane Cup, and this is where the Victorian guns come out to play. And in the first of them, Flying Zulu.
Yeah, against Lakeview Emily. I mean, you've spoken about how you think the Q is a track where you certainly want to be out and gone, out in front. So you'd suggest that Lakeview Emily will be suited by this track. And the punters agree. I mean, she's favourite over Flying Zulu, who we know can begin okay. Extreme Tension is a talented greyhound drawn in box 2, so that's a great way to start off. But seeing those two great Victorians head-to-head, and then you throw in Paul Oswald, who probably isn't drawn the best, at around $5, is going to be very, very interesting.
And then the following prelude, Poor Vortex, Excavation box 1, Morton box 4. So, geez, there's no time to wait for the guns to step out again.
Well, we've spoken about Excavation, and we think he's sort of somewhere near his best, Jace, from his last 3 starts. He's been very, very good. Gold Force racing here after running second in that Ballarat Cup behind Explicit. Obviously, they've all had a look at the track. Be interesting to see how he goes off box 8 here, especially with the speed in 7 with Inconspicuous. Are you keen to have a look at the $2.70, Jace, or do you think Excavation's just too well drawn here?
I haven't gone through it in detail, but I think one like Inconspicuous can be a smoky.
Yeah.
He steps fast, and we know that is the strength of racing on this Q2 Parklands track. And then we'll move on to the following prelude. Now, we spoke about our social gig that we had on Sunday. There was one disappointment that came out of it. It was the hiatus and omission of Tim from Kilsyth. We didn't see Timmy, but he'll be in front of the box tomorrow night to watch Tim Zhu go around. He's the biggest player, along with Mapunga Reward, in that final prelude to be run.
Well, I think the race, and they're the two favourites, Jason, obviously. Mapunga Reward, of course, breaking the track record in a trial last week, and Tim Zhu wouldn't be far off that, you'd imagine. But what I like about this race is I think Born Model, who is a Group 1 winner, obviously, in the hands of the Prince off box 1, gets an opportunity to say, well, catch me if you can here. And I believe she's trialled very, very well there. I thought she was very unlucky last week, just didn't get the start right. And I don't know, I just get a feeling that Born Model, well, it's not representing a whole heap of value. She's $3.50, but if she gets on the bunny, Jace, be interesting to see how she goes here, because we know Mapunga Reward is so brilliant, but he does rely on a little bit of luck. There's going to be a few bums ahead of him, and whether he can navigate his way through. If he's anywhere near her, he'll blow her away. We know that, but that's a really, really interesting race of fire and ice almost. Greyhounds that can burn it at the start, and then another two that are probably suited over 550 plus.
And the main race, lastly, on that card at Q2 Parklands tomorrow night, the Superstars. And we're often talking about doing something different in racing to for the product to be attractive to those people on the fringe. And I think this, which is in the same format of which the shootout is at Sandown in November, it does that. Good dogs with room against each other. $75,000 going to the winner of this one. A Pillar, Autumn Storm, Raiders Guide, and the greyhound who was sublime at Geelong last Friday night, Ethanol Water.
And it's $4.20, the largest odds here. I mean, we just highlights.
What a contest.
I mean, what a great contest. A Pillar is a greyhound from South Australia who's done some really nice things. Are you keen to have a little bit of a play on Raiders Guide? He often finds a way to win these type of races, Chase. So it's going to be really, really interesting. Do we get to see the Ethanol Water that rolls to the front, or will she have to work it hard? And then the local greyhound Autumn Storm, of course, who's a good front-running stayer. So did you see the prize money attached to this too, Jason? I've got to just double-check
75.
It's 75
to the winner.
It's incredible prize money. It really is.
Yeah, they do a good job of the whole carnival, that is for sure. So that's Q2 Parklands tomorrow night. Locally at Sandown, it's just a tame card, but when you get to race 8, you go, oh, hello. Not much of a betting proposition, but we see Explicit, the superstar sprinter, return to Sandown Park for the first time since he won the Melbourne Cup last year, and he'd have to be $1.20. He's now got a vacant box on his outside after a scratching. So times and margins, but we love watching him go around.
The last time we sent times of margins for a Thompson Greyhound
Zulu.
box 1, old John
we'll have to get John's take on Explicit.
Yeah, but look, and poor old Peaky Joe, who we've worked back into form. Obviously, it's been through our help. Very, very hard to beat. Explicit. Can we mention race 1 too, Jason? Because
go for it.
I think it's an interesting race with a couple of greyhounds on the rise. Now, we don't know much about the ground in box 1. It's had 2 starts for 2 wins. It's come with 2 starts from Dubbo. 29.49 at Dubbo is a fast run. So it's up against Weblex Snoop, who we've spoken about on the show. We've got a big opinion of, and Valedictorian as well. So that's a really, really good way to start the night tomorrow, 6:23 p.m. Put that in your diaries. All
right, more to come here on Grey Area. Some updates on some stars, George's tips at Sandown, the Ferrugia files, and much more. But let's get to Sandown for race 2. As we heard before, Mark Hunter and also Matt Hill with Nobelis, $2.30 favourite. Here's Matt.
Noble as. Here is Flattered joining them. We await on D-Bar and also Lincolnshire. 3-year-old fillies going around here at the 1,600 metres. D-Bar coming along. D-Bar is in. And here's Lincolnshire. Second event of 9 here at Sportsbet Sandown today. Ready, and away they go. Lincolnshire missed the kick by about 2 lengths, and Flathead's going back to the end. Noble As jumped away well as expected from Balcony. And on the outside, nice and close in the early stages, Colour Our World. They're 2 lengths, Canara D-Bar, followed then by All Business, Flattered, and Lincolnshire overdoing it at the back of the field, just wanting to pull. So it's Noble As it likes here, by a length and a half, Colour Our World at the 1,200 metres. Third is Balcony, and fourth is Canara. Fifth on the inside is D-Bar, and they were followed by All Business, and then about a length and a half to Lincolnshire on the fence, followed by Flattered. So Noble As gets its chance to win here in town, runs off the back section with 900 metres to go, dictating the tempo in this by a length, Colour Our World. Balcony is third, and fourth is Canara, a length and a quarter D-Bar, and they were followed by All Business as they run by the 700 metres. Flattered next the outside of Lincolnshire as they run towards the corner. Noble As in the OTI Silks, 3/4 of a length in front from Colour Our World. Jock getting a bit fidgety on the second runner. 2 lengths Canara, followed by Balcony, All Business, D-Bar, Flattered, Lincolnshire. 500 metres to go. Noble As in front. Geordie Childs is sitting pretty by over a length. 2 in second place, Balcony. Colour Our World wanting to hang under pressure. Canara, All Business unleashing down the outside. Lincolnshire behind those, but Noble As, 200 metres to go. Put the foot down, and it's 3 lengths in front all of a sudden. Under hands and heels, Noble As from All Business, followed by Colour Our World, but this is impressive. Noble As sliding to the line is going to bolt in. All Business second, third Colour Our World, then Canara, Lincolnshire, Balcony, Flattered, and last D-Bar. Nice win. Really nice win. Noble As, Geordie Childs for Mick Price and Michael Kent Jr. Well, settled really well in the run. Went to the front with no panic, was able to dictate, settled, and then had enough for a real turn of foot to put them away in the final 200 metres. And it was an easy watch, and it was an easy steer for jockey Geordie Childs. Noble As the winner, number 7, has walked in from All Business second. Number 5, Luke Cartwright for the Corstons Larkin combination. And Colour Our World, who just wanted to hang fractionally, was almost on one rein up the running with Dean Yendall aboard in third money. 7.56 to the running of race number 2, but we've unearthed a real nice filly here in Noble As. Will obviously take on bigger fish than that. Fourth, number 2, Canara. Fifth was number 4, Lincolnshire. They've clocked 1:39.37, where she dictated from the front. It's 7, 5, 6 and 2.
7, 5, 6 and 2. Thank you, Matt. Noble As at $2.60 and $1.40. Geordie Childs. Number 5, All Business at $2.20. 6, Colour Our World, $1.50. And 2, Canara. The Quinella, $10.50. The Exacta, $13. Mark's Trifecta, $57. And the first 4, $246 for 7, 5, 6 and 2. Running double, a pair of 7s, $53. We've got a greyhound race with Paul Hammond at Sale in a couple of minutes. We'll go to that, and then we'll wrap up grey areas on the other side.
Lots to get to, and a lot of text messages have come in at 12:15. So whether they were stuck or the timing of you people is impeccable, I don't know. But let's get to them. Kenny from Cranbourne, happy great show today. And George, happy 45th birthday. We'll leave you with joke. What are Go's favourite birthday cakes? Ice cream cakes.
Kenny.
That's a belter, Kenny.
That's a Kenny.
Hi, boys. Happy birthday, George. Ash here. Still scratching my head after Friday's show where 8 of you experts picked a dog for the Phoenix and none of you chose Excavation. Astonishing. Tough crowd, a lot of good dogs out there.
Yeah, there was, I think a lot of people went the young route just to make sure that they were going to be firing. Yeah, in 6 months' time.
Happy birthday, George. Love your work. You only look about 28. That's from Jared.
Thanks, Jared. Uncle Jared.
Funny old fellow, easily the best run of the 9 on Pink Diamond Night from number ending at 815. Happy birthday, George. Where's your tradition? I was thinking some Maltese Pazizzi.
Yes,
Have a great day. That's from Charlie.
Love a pastizzi.
This is from number ending in 426. Great run and amazing time by funny old fellow. Scalacci's controversial withdrawal was interesting. Not sure about controversial. I think he just pulled up a bit sore after his run.
Yeah.
Also, how is race 5 in the Meadows tonight? A maiden with 6 first starters.
Yeah, well, the Daily Camp have got 26 first starters and one greyhound who's had 1 start. So trying to back a winner there, Jason, is going to be problematic.
And lastly, g'day boys. How close was my multi at Geelong? Matlock, Ethanol Water, and Dear Carla Lou beaten by a nose, but it was a winning night. Tim from Kilsyth. Good on you, Timmy. We'll be back after this race at Sale. Here's Paul Hammond for the third.
And favourite here is Not Our Fault for Bubba Jose and Ignatius Rose. Strong second pick. It's 270 number 2 and 320 for the pink. And greyhounds are moving into the boxes for the Roddy Security. It's a mixed grade 6-7, the third for the day. Don't forget the quaddie a bit later on, 5 through to 8. Always good fun to have a quaddie. We've got 6 runners here. The green light is on. Race number 3. Set. Racing, Jovial Gem on the inside came out pretty well. Showing pace was Made by Mia. Made by Mia goes to a narrow lead. Now's about 2 lengths in front. Not Our Fault. The favourite gets out of the pack and runs on. Then came Ignatius Rose about 4 off the lead and also making ground. Then came Bring Me Later. Well back Hurricane Pat. Tailed off was Jovial Gem. Up around the corner. It's Not Our Fault, the leader. Getting up on the inside, Ignatius Rose. There's a good go. Not Our Fault has beaten Ignatius Rose and Ring Me Later. Then for the back was Made by Mia. Then came Hurricane Pat at the tail, Jovial Gem. And the race time was around 24.92. Well, favourite beats the second favourite. Not Our Fault for Bubba Jose. Ignatius Rose rallied strongly, but then Not Our Fault kicked back nicely in the last 20 or 30 metres. It's 5:34, 13.92. 24.92 is the overall time. 11 neat is the running time. Number 2 officially the winner.
2, 8, 6 and 7, and they're in straight away. Number 2, Not Our Fault at $2.90 and $1.70. Started second favourite. Number 8, Ignatius Rose at $1.10. No third div. Number 6, Ring Me Later. And 7, Made by Mia. The Quinella, $3.70. Exacta, $8. Trifecta, $23. And the first 4, 2, 8, 6 and 7... has paid $46. The running double 8 and 2, $3.60. Late scratching in the race was 5, Cover Drive, and the sub was number 8, Ignatius Rose. It ran second, gents.
All right, finally, we'll get to George's tips at Sandown tomorrow night. I mentioned the highlight, clearly explicit in race 8. But how can we make $1 out of tomorrow night's card?
Yeah, just seen that Weblex Snoopy scratch from that race 1, Jace, that we spoke about. So it's Al Ray and Valedictorian. That's going to still be a nice battle. Race 3, number 4, Jason, a greyhound called Aston Freddy. It's won 2 of its last 3 over 600 metres. In one of those wins, Jason, it ran 34.36. We went 8.99 early, which is elite over the 5.95 at Sandown. That is really quick. It's up against one called Crutching Tommy, who has got more ability than Aston Freddy, but can get caught up in a little bit of traffic. So I just think Aston Freddy is a chance there. And in the last race, Jace, we like one. Race 12, number 4, Urana Cobalt. One of those ones where I think it's a bit of a drop in class. Went 5.10 early last start at the Meadows and got into a little bit of trouble. Its runs before that, it did show a little bit of early speed. It's not electric early, but as I said, this is a bit of a drop in class to some of the greyhounds it's been racing against in Team Daly's hands. And she's got a solid record, and I think she'll be hard to beat. Race 12, number 4, to bring us home.
All right, and the Ferrugia Files. Now, there's not much to cover here, but you did have Pine Bluff win at good odds at Warrnambool on Monday, which was nice to see. Broke the drought.
Yes.
All right, Meadows tonight, your old stomping ground, George. Race 3, number 2, Pax Bastonia. I've also got number 3, Charlestown, so 2 in the 1 race.
Yeah, they've both drifted it like a gale, mate, in market. So there's a lot of first starters for the Daily camp. So I don't know how good they are, but both of those greyhounds of mine will win a race. I'm not sure it's tonight, though.
Race 9, number 2 at the Meadows tonight, King of Snake.
Yeah, drawn okay, but placed best, I think.
Webleck Billy looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Drawn wide in that race.
Yeah.
All right, that's all we've got for the Ferrugia Files tonight.
What odds you'll give me if they both win yours tonight? What odds you'll give me?
Oh, I'll give you 150 to 1.
Okay.
You'll get more on the multi, wouldn't he?
Yeah, that's right. I know.
Hey, speaking of the Meadows tonight, we touched on it earlier. Team Daly have 27 first starters in the first 5 races.
And a few of them, Jace, from, again, just to highlight their international movement when it comes to pedigrees like that. There's a greyhound there's one called by Pat C. Sabbath, who's an American dog. There's one called Ballymac Bolger, who's an Irish dog. There's stuff out of Australian breeds. I mean, I'll be really interested to see how they all go.
And knowing historically with these sort of dogs, they could improve 10 lengths in 3 starts.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just the nature of the way. They're ready to go for tonight at the Meadows, but we'll learn a lot clearly. All right, I think that's a wrap for grey areas.
Yep.
Have a
John?
good day,
Georgie,
guys.
that champagne is from all of your RSN 927 family.
Oh, magnificent.
Not
Thank you
just
very
not
much,
just
mate.
from me. I just
Straight
wanted
in the chiller. I'll be right to
That's
go.
when you know
Straight
you're
out of the board, straight out of the boardroom fridge to you.
Perfect.
Don't tell them.
Where's that board?
Don't put that to wear. All right, we're back on Friday. Wrap up Sandown tomorrow night. The action at the Q, preview the Meadows, the obscure outlay which saluted
Yes.
last weekend, which was magnificent. So enjoy the rest of your day. And as I said, we'll be back Friday.
Good on you, boys.
Check out this offer. This Saturday for races 1 to 4 at Flemington and Randwick, use your bet returns, and if your horse runs second or third, get a bonus bet back with Sportsbet. Conditions apply.
What's gambling really costing you?
It's a sobering reality when cancer affects you, a loved one, friend or colleague. This is why we Dry July. Go alcohol-free for just 1 month and ask family, friends and workmates to donate to you. Everyone has their reasons to give up the grog for a month. Is it the better sleep, abundance of energy and improved mental health you feel by not drinking for a month? Or is cancer a little closer to home? This July, get involved by signing up today or pouring out